Christian Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Out of the Black Shadows by Stephen Lungu with Anne Coombs. Narrated by Mirron Willis. Foreword. Stephen Lungu has given a remarkable account of the wonderful dealings of God with him in those years straddling the coming of independence to southern Africa. I was deeply moved to read such a graphic and expressive life story, because so much of my life was entwined with his, and later Rachel's. Never before have I been able to get such a complete picture, and I was especially struck by the intensity of the struggles in the most formative years of his life, some even unwittingly caused by me. What a testimony to God's grace and power! To me, this is a wonderful demonstration of God's grace in forming a man who never had experienced much parental love or a stable family life, who became, with Rachel, a wonderful married couple, frequently involved in marriage guidance. What an encouragement to any who fear to launch out into serving the Lord because their own lives were so disadvantaged. Stephen was most kind in his evaluation of Jill's and my input into his life. We were all much of the same age, and I had so much to learn myself. I bow in adoration before the Lord for all that Africa, and especially my African teammates, taught me of love, tact, understanding of local culture, and walking with the Lord. There were the hard times, the clashes, the growing pains, but these were the foundation of so much of my subsequent ministry. In many ways, Stephen was the closest to me of all my African colleagues, and my best teacher. I share this here because I do not think Steve did adequate justice to the fact that the learning was a two-way process. May this testimony be an inspiration to many and bring much glory to the Lord Jesus. Patrick Johnstone, WEC International, author of Operation World. Preface. Salisbury, Rhodesia, in the spring of 1962, was not the most peaceful of places. The whites had the army, the police, and plenty of guns to maintain the right-wing government and the status quo. But they did not have all the fighters or all the guns. The city was riddled with left-wing factions, financed by the Eastern Bloc countries. They wanted control of Rhodesia, and so mobilized a second secret army and armed it with petrol bombs, hand grenades, Russian rifles, and pistols. Why didn't the government keep this second army out of Rhodesia? Because it was all around them, and potentially made up the majority of Rhodesia. The left-wing groups recruited from the tens of thousands of poor black youths who had little education, few jobs, and scanty prospects in life. Most were not politically minded. Like everyone else, these young men simply wanted a better life, food and shelter for their families. The left-wing groups promised these young men unlimited prosperity. They told them that one day they would have their pick of the white men's belongings, the luxurious bungalows, the glamorous cars. All they had to do was join the liberation struggle. Their enemies were all whites, but especially
Sample complete. Ready to continue?